Former First Lady Michelle Obama has a big podcast. Would you believe me if I told you it was not about to last much longer because the viewership was absolutely abysmal. Nobody was paying attention. Nobody was listening to Michelle Obama. But Hollywood, the celebrities, and even her hubby, the former president, Barack Obama, have come to the rescue. Today we'll tell you why it still won't save those who fail in the new media. You know, folks, we love our former first ladies. Every single one of them, probably, maybe. Okay, there are a few that we don't like, but Michelle Obama, she's great, she's grand, she's all that. I know some of you don't like that, but folks, we're here to say we're not against Michelle, but when it comes to podcasts, she was about to go under, it looks like to us. Then came the cavalry. Barack Obama, president of the United States prior to Trump and Biden, and guess what? Here they came riding in, the celebrities, the Holly Weirds, and now Michelle Obama is doing decently. We'll show you the stats and why Michelle Obama might want to rethink being a part of the new media going forward. Out of the New York Post, Michelle Obama's new podcast is a dud with listeners. The story here is that Michelle Obama was too big to fail. Celebrities, as well as her hubby, are coming in to save the day. This was in April from the New York Post by Hannah Penrick of Fox News. Michelle Obama's new podcast is a dud. It says, former First Lady Michelle Obama's new podcast ranked 34th on Spotify's top podcast chart weeks after debuting with her first episode alongside her brother, Craig Ferguson. Now, that was not allowed to be because she was getting viewership that was just nothing compared to somebody like Joe Rogan. So I thought, well, why don't we check and see how things are going for Michelle Obama versus the new media these days? Like, did she get her stuff figured out? What's going on? And so I went to go see. Well, over here on SocialBlade, if you go and you check out the podcast YouTube channel for Michelle Obama, IMO, that's the name of the podcast. If you go down here, I was shocked, I tell you, when I found out that she's got 21 million views for the last 30 days. That's a big deal. Yes, it's a quarter of Megyn Kelly, but compared to where she was, I mean, Michelle Obama was getting beat by small YouTube channels. Then I paid attention to the subscribers and the views. And what I noticed is, all of a sudden, I mean, she was languishing throughout July. And then the last week of July, a big surprise. The viewership from Michelle Obama suddenly exploded. So what's going on with that? Well, if we take a look at the YouTube channel that she has here, not just SocialBlade, we can kind of see what's going on. Now, folks, I want you to understand, I'm not trying to be braggadocious about this. That Park Place, the YouTube channel that covers Disney Parks news that Jonas and Vash and I do, it beats many of these Michelle Obama videos. Okay? For example, in my opinion, there's a new Breakfast of Champions. 7,500 views 3 days ago. Why, quote unquote, the spark isn't the best sign of compatibility when dating. Less than 10,000 views 4 days ago. And sometimes she gets a little bit of a hit, 72,000, but she's the former First Lady. 4,000 views
Michelle,
on this one?
I just have to say, have you tried talking about all the news that should be fun?
Yeah, she should. So what is going on? How is Michelle, this is what got my attention, Jonas. How is it that Michelle is pulling in the numbers that SocialBlade says she is, where she's getting, again, folks, 21 million views in the last 30 days. How is she doing that? And the videos are performing less than some startup YouTube channels. How is she doing that? And that's when I scrolled down. And what I discovered was that it was Barack to the rescue. And this is what they can't stand. They're going to hate that we covered this. I mean, really going to hate this. By the way, if any of our big buddies in the news outlets out there, Fox News or any of the other outlets, if you want to cover this, we're happy that you're paying attention. Look at the Barack Obama videos. 123,000 views 3 weeks ago. 40,000. 1.4 million views with Barack Obama. And guess what, folks? If we check out, you can look at this, you can go and you can see. Guess how she's getting a lot of the views from the other videos that just all of a sudden happened? Celebrities. Celebrities started coming in and stopping by. Tina Knowles talks matriarch, 223,000. And this all happened at once. Bruce Springsteen on how he healed his past, 300,000 views plus. Julia Louis-Dreyfus came on by and got 250,000 views for her. So in the same week that Barack Obama stopped on by and saved the day for his wife, so did celebrity stars. Now, I don't have any problem whatsoever with this strategy, guys. I just want to be very clear. There's nothing nefarious about that. Michelle Obama can pull in big-time guest stars, and when she does, the viewership goes up. But here's what you need to know. This is what's newsworthy about it. If we look at this chart again over here on SocialBlade, at the views, Michelle Obama on her own gets 500,000 views a week. And that's fine. That's fine. For a first lady, former first lady, not great. Not close to great. There are people working out of their garages getting more views, and I know that's very few. Few and far between. You're in the top 1% if you're doing this. But again, she's a former first lady. But when Michelle, and by the way, she was dropping. I mean, in the middle of July, she got 344,000 views for the entire week on her podcast. Popped up to 8.5 million once Barack and the celebrity stopped on by. Okay? That's the bottom line. She got that big, giant explosion of viewership because Barack Obama and the Hollywood celebs. So here's what I've discovered, gentlemen, in the last couple of days looking into this. I believe that somebody said, this can't happen. Michelle can't fail this way. Michelle can't be 1/100th of Joe Rogan. That's not, because she's supposed to be an icon. She's supposed to be she's the North Star of the left. When they go low, we go high. I know culture, I know, but that's the narrative. And she was being exposed by the new media because when she participated in the new media, no views arrived. They've gone to new strategy. Give her Barack, circle the wagons with the celebs, and try to save the day. Culture, the views are already going down again now that they've gone away. Your thoughts on what is being revealed, and not only by Michelle, but also, I don't know if you saw this, Netflix, the articles out there all say, culture, Netflix re-signs with the Obamas and with Meghan Markle. And then you look at it and it's like, no, Netflix signed a deal that says we'll look at the stuff you make. Like, that's not the same as, anyway, go ahead.
No, I dropped a video on that this morning, and it was pointed out to me by people that they are signing an extension of their contract, which includes, an extension of a first look deal. All that is true, but, Meghan and Harry just aren't exactly the greatest thing ever. They only scored 5.3 million views in the first 6 months of 2025 on the, whatever that, With Love Megan show that was popping up there. And look, it's still, that put it in like 383rd place on Netflix. It's not exactly bringing in the views. They have a better chance of bringing in views with first run films, but set that all aside. This is the same problem that Hollywood has had and the problem that they're suffering now, especially Disney, with forcing Pedro Pascal on everybody. You cannot manufacture a star anymore in Hollywood. Not that I believe they ever could. I think that they lost the ability to at least convince people that somebody might be popular. This lady's not popular. She has terribly divisive views, and truthfully, she never really had any pull. She never had any gravitas. She just. But
we were told, culture. We were told for almost 2 decades now that she's this very, very popular person, and I don't doubt with many circles and demographics that she is. And I'm not mad at Michelle. I'm not trying to be mean to Michelle. I am just noticing that in the new media where meritocracy reigns supreme, she didn't get any views until just this last month. I mean, she's been going now since April, and the last couple of weeks, suddenly there's a surge of viewership. And when I check on it, I'm like, oh, it's because Barack was there. Yeah, we're not supposed to know that it's because of Barack. That's counter narrative to them.
Well, no, look, anybody who's willing to do a little critical thinking and a small amount of investigation is going to be telling you this aspect of the story, which is, one of the reasons why most people rely on places like that Park Place, when they're looking for news. It's why they look at Cosmic Book News. It's why they look at, World of Real or, just a handful of other sites, including Bounding into Comics, that actually feeds out stories movies that are based on a little bit of critical thinking, a little bit of investigation, and they're able to break down why are they trying to spin this narrative the way they are, and why is it actually a narrative in the first place? Because without Baranka, as you pointed out, or any of these other heavy hitters, she's going to pull exactly the same thing all over again. And again, it comes down to that word I used already, gravitas. She has none. She doesn't have a natural pull. Maybe, and look, it's not her fault she doesn't have charisma. And it's not her fault that it all looks like planned conversation rather than the gift of gab, which is what most people who are charismatic have. It's also why most people that are in their garages that are capable of doing this are extraordinary. It's a talent. You have to have it. If you don't have it, you can't. You're not going to get bigger than Michelle Obama.
Right. And there's a thing that on the left, they want to tell you how you're supposed to perceive someone, how you are supposed to receive. It's the same as the Pedro Pascal problem. They view this as it is our moral duty to feel this way about a certain thing. And that overrides, as opposed to duty, they have a duty to think a certain way, and they start to police people's thoughts as opposed to the actual public sentiment about something. They want people to be excited for Barack Obama and Michelle Obama and all these things. And you watch, all these last years, and I'm not making any specific notes about anyone's appearance here, but they did make a lot of commentary about how Michelle Obama is beautiful and all of these things. But then I'm not making any objective statements here, but just by the paychecks, I do believe that Melania Trump has made more money on her looks as a career because she was a model, a supermodel, some might say, but they are dead silent on the appearance of Melania Trump.
Well,
I wonder why that might be.
Well, let's try this on and see if I can do this in a way that's absolutely as non-offensive and non-controversial as can be. I think it's fair to say, Vash, that Michelle Obama is a more popular former first lady than as a podcaster. And when I say that she's more popular as a former first lady than as a podcaster, what I really mean is she's more interesting as a figurehead of a country than as someone you would sit and listen to, because nobody is sitting and listening to Michelle Obama. They are coming to find out what her husband thinks about a topic or what a celebrity says, but when it's just Michelle, again, she's getting like 4,000 views on YouTube. That's not good. And just to show, again, folks, as proof here, you take a look at this. 11 days ago, Craig gets a crash course on the Real Housewives. 7.2 thousand views. That's the former first lady. That's Michelle Obama getting 7,000 views. 7,000.
Isn't that the guy from Saturday Night Live that's on there with her?
Probably. I don't know. Probably, though.
Well, I was just looking a couple things up. I will congratulate Michelle Obama on this. Her YouTube channel is doing far better than Brie Larson's YouTube channel.
Well, now good job. Good job, Ron. You found somebody who failed harder.
On the other hand, you look at Megyn Kelly. Wow, boy, there's somebody who's crushing it on YouTube. Or Brett, what's Brett's? Brett Cooper. Wow.
Brett Cooper, yeah.
Another one who's crushing it on YouTube. I think Michelle is the kind of person who can actually draw a live crowd depending on if she's going to certain cities to do some like live talks, but just doesn't come across on camera very well. She has a fan base, right? And the fan base is a very specific fan base, but it's a limited fan base, the kind where you could fill up a small theater, for example, maybe a few hundred seat theater you could fill up and actually make it look, to the crowds like she's doing really well. But when you put her on a podcast, it's just not the same. Also, for the most part, it seems to me, and this is as a viewer, not from this side of YouTube, but from the side that I came from as a viewer, not what I want to see when I'm going to watch YouTube. I want to see real people with real views that are down to earth, that are not famous, that are not celebrities, but have maybe the knowledge of celebrities. Same thing with politics, not politicians, but people have the knowledge about politics, but are just regular, normal, down to earth people who have the same type of life that I do, with the family to take care of, and this and that and the other. I don't care for seeing a lot of celebrity in general when I'm going to YouTube to watch. It's just not a thing.
Well, here's what I love about the new media. And Michelle can figure things out and maybe become a more fascinating conversationalist, and maybe she'll take off. But what I love about the new media is it seems to me that you win or lose based not on who you are, although that can be a major leg up. But over time, merit seems to win. And, Michelle right now is not succeeding in this venue. The old guard system, the dinosaur going extinct legacy media system, was gatekeeping, and as Jonas said, manufactured personas, demigodification of individuals. But the new media is all about, can you do it or not? Can you carry the water or not? And I think that if the new media takes over, then people who transfer from the new media into government or into places of power, they will be more competent than what was coming out of the prior system. Panel, final thoughts on this one. Weigh in.
People absolutely hate it when you tell them what to like.
Hang on just a second, Jonas. Vash was in a full-blown conversation and then realized that he was muted. Vash, go ahead. Vash was leaned back. He was into it. He was chatting it up. And then we realized, oh, Vash, sorry about that.
Oh, no. It's fine. I usually don't mute myself that way, so I wasn't used to that. But no, I think when you look at Michelle Obama, or you look at some of these figures who might be better as figureheads, as you pointed out there, Pro, I mean, you brought up a good point about Brie Larson. For fans of Brie Larson, much more compelling as somebody on screen than somebody that you maybe listen to or tune into in these on YouTube or any way you consume that content, right? I think with Michelle Obama and some of these influential figures, they are most influential by, well, being, interesting and honestly, Michelle Obama doesn't necessarily read like that. At least in my mind, she doesn't. I mean, there are some mainstream media outlets out there that say, "Oh yeah, she's great, she's fantastic, she's awesome." But even from Michelle Obama fans or fans of the Obamas or whatever, I just don't see a lot of people seeking out that content. If anything, what this reveals here, at least in my mind, is that these celebrities that they bring on far more compelling and far more interesting. And perhaps she has established a format, or somebody around her has established a format in which works, and that's great. That's fantastic. But I just find it very, very interesting that at the same time that we see the Obamas, go through their Netflix foibles there, as beautifully pointed out by Culture. So too are we seeing maybe the star diminish from Michelle herself as it's being cast on other people around her, propping her up. Very interesting.
Well, I see this as an opportunity for optimism. Folks, if you're out there and you're a content creator and maybe you're getting 200 views, 300 views on a video, and you're looking for that big breakthrough, just go check out Michelle Obama's YouTube channel and think to yourself, hey, with a little luck and a lot of hard work, sweat equity, I could beat Michelle Obama in the next few months if I just keep at this.
There you go. I just know I was looking at her subject matter too. That anything that's on these thumbnails, they don't really relate to Michelle Obama and what people want to know from her anyway. So that alone, I think, would prevent people from clicking on it. Oh, it's Michelle Obama, how to do eggplant parmesan.
You don't want to know. You don't want to rethink elevator etiquette.
No,
this is what goes on in the mind of the former First Lady, Ron.
In my opinion, there's a new breakfast of champions. Take that, Theo Vaughn.
Look, the thumbnails are bad for other reasons. Like somebody decided they went in depth on color theory and gave you these are the pastel backgrounds we all know you love.
Culture, don't even
behind them. I
3 weeks ago, you told me mauve was the new color that every font had to be in a thumbnail. Don't even.
Pink is the new black. Okay. Anyway, all I know is that this was like, I'm like looking at these thumbnails. I'm like, wow, if we made thumbnails this dismally, we'd have trouble.
Culture, you're not supposed to have to work when you're a former politician. That's not how this works.
Well,
or a former first lady. You don't have to make thumbnails.
What's the overall subscriber base here? And then we can talk about whether it's real or fictional.
You want to see the subscriber base?
Yes, please.
She's got 400 folks, let me explain this to you too. You got to know this. This is inside the weeds. She's got 405,000 subscribers. Now, most of that came within the last 3 weeks. Really. I mean, like, they had to save the day. So 400,000 subscribers, most of it within the last 3 weeks because of celebrities and Barack Obama. So when Michelle Obama pulls 4,000 views on a video in 7 days ago, what that means is YouTube notified 400,000 people that this video just came out, and 1% of them decided to watch it. Now, if you land at 10% or less, it is a red flag to YouTube. If 10% of your subscribers say, screw that, I don't want to care, I don't want to click that, it's a red flag. So 1% is terrible. It's just terrible.
Well, and again, I mean, YouTube can control that as well, and that's the thing. It's why people are always arguing about the algorithm and how it's changed or shifted, and all of a sudden your views go away. Your material didn't, your presentation style didn't, probably even your art didn't. But this is a real thing that, as a YouTuber, the inside the weeds thing that Pro's talking about, you can tell what's a dead channel. Us creators can look at other channels and go, wow, I don't know, did those people leave? Did they exist in the first place? Because I mean, I'll admit I'm subscribed to an extraordinary amount of channels, but I oftentimes go there. I'll be editing a video and I've got all kinds of channels running in the background while I'm working, and so I'm getting quality content from these people. But if you see a channel that was pulling less than 1% on the regular, that's a bad sign. Unless they're being artificially muted by the algorithm, which does happen, there's no excuse for that, which means that she's not as relevant as they're trying to present her as, at least not in this format. Maybe podcasts aren't her jam. Maybe she should be doing shorts. Maybe she should do short form videos that maybe are like an 8-minute style of thing. She maybe not suited for a podcast style. I'm just saying. I mean, everybody has their fortes.
Well, what is a podcast if not a conversation? And what is a conversation except the sharing of ideas? So for whatever reason, Michelle Obama, despite all of her prestige and her place in history, when she shares ideas with others, nobody bothers to stop on by, even those that were supposed to be her most ardent fans. That's the story here, folks. New media determining who wins and loses based on merit. And Michelle, she's went a little errant in that strategy. And it is time to put a bow on it, for this one, folks, is a gift to everybody who wants to know exactly what's going on in the entertainment industry. And we are so joyful that you were there to receive it. We hope that you had a great time. An attitude of gratitude on this channel every single time you decide to spend time with us. As we get ready to say goodbye, we only ask a few simple things. Click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, and stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, so waste not yours. And folks, as you get ready to head out that door, do you have a place on social media that you love to share this sort of thing? Hey, you can make this YouTube video sing by putting it out there for your friends, your family, and for those weirdos who just won't leave you alone. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Jump into the water. Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.